Can you introduce yourself and your brand to our audience?
Hello, I'm Monika and I'm founder and main designer in Equitect. We design woolen horse rugs and wool blankets.
I see the name of the brand, it's Equitect. I know what it's inspired by, but maybe you could tell our audience a bit about it, because I find that this aspect really interesting about your work.
Well, yes, because actually I'm an architect. I also worked as a clothes and textile designer. And I'm also a rider and horse owner as well, and that's why I decided to make some products for horses that are very functional, and maybe, as you know, my motto is that form follows function. It's really nice motto. It's said by one of the top known architects, Louis Sullivan. And also maybe second motto, it's less is more. It's by Mies van der Rohe, one of the top world architects.
I think that brings us back to when we were talking about the black on black on black. When you explained to me about the black blanket, how everyone was surprised that you wanted it so minimal, right?
Yeah, but it's all about the structure. It's all about the structure. I can see it when I look at those blankets. I see, every trim, every detail, every color.
I think that's your architectural imagination kind of coming in, because to me, when I heard of like every detail being black, I would say the same thing. Like, it's just gonna get lost in the whole thing. Like, I can't really envision it. But now I actually own one of the black blankets and I love it.
Yeah.
Like, the final product looks great. So kudos to you.
In warehouse, they actually thought I'm crazy because they gave me a lot of trimming to choose. And I said, oh well, but we have some kind of beige rug, and I cannot choose from all of your trimmings here. It was like, I don't know, maybe 50, 60 of them. So we decided to find some material, some velvet material, and then cut it into smaller pieces, and then we make this trimming from a regular material, because I just cannot find the exact color of my wool.
Now that you told me that you're also a clothing designer, that really explains a lot, because the way I see it is you approach those products for horses like exactly as if it was like a full-blown fashion collection. And so you're actually so focused on the details, which it's amazing. Like, I don't think we have products that are meticulously crafted to that level of detail for horses.
Yeah, that's really nice. What you're saying, that's really nice. But in the first place, I'm looking on the composition. This is really important for me. I always try to find some natural samples, and then I made some prototypes with my grandma, and how it's all started.
Yeah,
with the natural wool.
But I think it's good to know, because for someone who has absolutely no experience in clothing design, or I think for me, like, we both share the passion for horses, but it would be difficult for me to just come to an idea that I'm going to start this brand and create something like that, because I don't have this experience backing it up, and you do with clothes designing. So
I exactly know how to make the rug from the idea, how to make the drawing. Surprisingly, I draw by hand. Then I draw it by computer, and then we make some construction, we make prototypes, we make some samples. This is a really long way to make it from idea to product, like you see.
So you basically combine your three main passions, which are horses, then architecture and clothes designing, and you put it all together using all the natural materials to create a product that's perfect for your horse.
Yeah, that was the idea. I think the main client, my horse, was the biggest inspiration for
the OG client.
Yeah, for those rugs. So yeah,
he's quite spoiled, guys. He's quite spoiled.
Yeah, so architecture, yes, but my horse definitely was the main inspiration. Yeah,
so
exactly.
here we have some materials, and I wanted to ask you if you could tell us a bit about the difference in wool to other materials. So what are the benefits to using wool for your horse? Because I think that's quite interesting for people. I think a lot of people just see your blankets as like very pretty, nicely designed blankets, but there's a lot more to it.
Yeah. Let's start with the thing that we use only 100% wool in composition. Many companies sell wool rugs that only has properties like wool.
Okay.
So I cannot agree.
So it's a bit like vegan leather, which is basically plastic.
Yeah, we also get vegan wool, so and it is 100% polyester. That's a pity, but we use here only 100% natural wool. Yeah, exactly. What we've got now in our blankets is few types of wool. One is more like felted wool. I've got some samples here, and we use it in our model Pure because the material is not even dyed. We handly select the fibers in light beige color and in walnut brown color, and we use only water to make the material. So no paints, no chemicals, nothing. That's why the material is fully degradable. We've got certificates for that, and so that's why the rug is called Pure, because you've got pure material there. But also our other models like Show horse rug is also 100% natural wool. We use paints there to make some other colors like black or grey, or maybe in a prototype some kind of navies. But well,
yeah, I'm looking forward to the navy.
Yeah. We have to look up for that.
I wanted to add something, like for me as like a novice and someone who really doesn't know much about the subject, I must say that I purchased the blankets from you primarily for the design of it. I really loved the design. But then kind of going into it and using them on the day-to-day, I started noticing the other qualities that I kind of, brushed off to the side that you were mentioning before, that really there's just such a difference in using a wool blanket to a fleece blanket. And I think in the beginning, people can be like a little bit intimidated by, okay, what is it going to look like if I wash it, how to properly take care of it, etc., which we're also going to talk about.
Yeah.
But what I really noticed is like what you told me from the beginning, but I guess I was kind of like in disbelief before I actually got to use the product. They really don't get the smell of the stable. Yeah. It really just works differently, like it doesn't trap the moisture underneath, like the moisture kind of gets sucked into the blanket and then evaporated outside, which is really good for drying the horse. And this is just something that I noticed while using them. So I think like that's something I really want to talk about, because I feel like a lot of people might be unaware of those qualities of wool and they might be buying simply for the design. But I think there's really like a lot of qualities to wool. If you could maybe talk about that a bit.
Yeah, what I hear for now, everybody is really into the elegance of the rugs and blankets. But for me, okay, it is it looks really elegant. But in the first place, for me, is the composition. And why the composition is so important here, because as you said, wool has really magic, let's say, properties.
It does, yeah.
And it really dries quick, evaporates moisture, and you don't have to take it off after training as you do with the fleece. because the fleece takes moisture inside, and then after a few minutes, horse gets caught underneath.
Yeah.
So you have to change it simply, and with those rugs you don't have to do it.
And
So
I think what's also really important for our golf clients is that it doesn't overheat the horse, right? So it's actually quite suitable for very warm climates. I know some people like to use them after training when a horse enters an AC stable. I think like that's a very good choice in comparison to fleece or any other artificial material for that climate.
yeah, exactly, and that's why the show rug has its 3D structure and is very light. And it's very light. When we touch the material, we can feel that the material is I don't know if it is if you can show it, but it's really it's really light, and it is very good for temperature changes. So in such a weather, wool is perfect. Wool is just perfect, and also I think it's really suitable for transport because you cannot overheat the horse.
That's true, because we often struggle to like fit a good rug for transport, because like it's kind of like it's cold outside, but then the horse gets overheated because they do get a bit heated while they're being transported. That's a good point. I didn't think of that.
And that's why if you don't know if put the rug on the horse, you can always use the show rug. It's suitable for most, I think, temperature and really different weather conditions.
And I think it's traditionally really present in the desert culture. So people in the Gulf or anywhere in the Middle East, because of the climate, because it gets so hot during the day and so cold at night, there was a lot of wool that's been used there for ages. So I think they're kind of used to that product already, and it's something that's quite traditional there.
Yeah, it's thermal regulation. It's thermal regulation.
So what are the biggest wool do's and don'ts, and how to properly care for your blanket? Because I feel like that's the one thing that freaks people out usually. What do I do to it if I can't wash it in the stable in any odd washing machine or whatever? How do I care for it? What are the do's and don'ts?
Actually, you can put it into washing machine. That's
under some conditions.
Yeah, under some conditions. First, you have to use wool program. So the temperature has to be low.
What if it doesn't have a wool program? Like how to manually set it? If you like, what is the recommended temperature? And like, I think some washing machines might not have it.
Temperature is maximum 30 degrees. Not more.
What happens to it if you put it to like a hot one, or?
If you put it in the hot water, wool can shrink a little bit, and the material.
So then you get like a Shetland rug.
yeah. So you have to buy another horse.
Yes. Always a good excuse.
Yeah. So then you just buy a second horse that is smaller and problem solved. I also recommend using Melp. It is.
We're gonna link it in the description down below. The product.
But also you can take the rug to some kind of dry cleaning. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. I think I think when you said that to me first, I was like, oh, how do I take it to a dry cleaner? It's like, aren't they gonna look at me like weird because it's gonna be so stinky and like from the stable? But actually, like it doesn't stink, and you can just clean it from the outside by just brushing it with a brush, and that kind of gets it into like. So if you really need to wash it, like it never gets to the state that the fleece or polyester blankets get. So when you bring it to a dry cleaner, it's like they're not going to refuse.
I'm sure of that.
Yeah.
Also our hats. I'm using a hat that is beanie. Let's say a beanie that is 100% merino wool, and I use it. I don't know, half a year in stable every day, and.
One second, actually I brought mine. I've got mine, let me bring it. It has become my go-to beanie as well, so that's mine. It's great. Matching.
Yeah.
How many colors do you have?
We have five.
Colors,
same as our wool blankets. We have 5 colors, and it's beige, light grey, also chocolate brown, and
I like the
black.
chocolate brown. And I like it on you as well because it goes very well with your hair. Like,
Okay,
it's like
should I show it?
Yeah. Maybe if you could bring the.
That's my beanie, chocolate brown with.
I like that color a lot.
With black logo, and I use it. I use it every day, and as you see, it looks like.
Yeah, that's the. I mean, you guys can't smell it, but I've been wearing it in the barn as well, and it doesn't smell. It doesn't smell like this table at all.
That's magic.
Yeah. It is. I didn't expect that. I don't know. It's like.
Actually, I also was kind of surprised because. I read about wool properties a lot, and I read that it doesn't take the smells in, but you know the stable smell is different.
Yeah, it's another level.
And here, beanie and rugs or blankets, they just smell neutral, let's say.
Yeah, that's pretty amazing because I think anyone who rides horses knows the smell of a used blanket.
Yeah.
I think you've told me that the project was like in the making for 4 years before you launched. That it took a while.
We worked for 4 years and changed materials, changed the warehouse, and it was a lot of work. And also sourcing of the material, the main material, was also kind of hard because I wrote to so many suppliers about wool material, and it was okay. They answered me, okay, we've got some wool materials, but it's not 100% wool.
Mm-hmm.
You cannot get 100% wool. And I was like, why? I want 100% knitted material. Oh, I also use woven material in blankets, but in rugs it has to be more elastic. So I was looking for the material, making prototypes, changing warehouses,
Mm-hmm.
and for now, I think the product the product is ready.
What I found interesting was that you told me that, I mean, it's kind of obvious seeing that, but it wasn't to me, so I guess it isn't to the audience as well, that the material is seasonal, that there are certain seasons in which you get wool. Like, I mean, you know, like anything in the natural world, but I think, you know, just living on the day-to-day surrounded by all of these artificial materials, we kind of forget that these things can be seasonal, and so is your material, right?
I wasn't surprised because if you shape sheep, you cannot do it like every day.
Yes, makes sense. But I guess it's something that people don't really think about on the day-to-day.
Yeah, and also that's why we always make some supplies earlier, and then I can use the material that I have. So that's why you have to think like half of the year before production.
So as I understand, and correct me if I'm wrong, you worked on the idea for 4 years and you launched the brand around autumn last year, right?
Yeah.
And for now you've got kind of 2 types of rugs. You've got blankets, you've got beanies. You're also working on like hoods for the blankets, right? For the horses.
we work on the blanket with hoodie and also heavy hoodie, with the shoulders.
Are you considering any other riders attire apart from the beanies? Are you thinking about making some like riders' clothes in the end? Because I think that's quite. I see you wearing wool a lot around the table.
Yeah, we actually made one prototype with merino wool, and it was kind of similar. I've got here. But now we are still working on that.
Yeah. So what's in there on the horizon for you? What's like the next kind of step for the brand? Because I see you developing very nicely locally, and like more and more people wearing the beanies and seeing people in competitions with your rugs. What's like the next big goal for the brand?
I think the biggest one is to make our wooden products, and we are also making some prototypes of let's say stable equipment. This was the things that I really need. I didn't find something that I really like, so I just decided
always
to
the best way to start a brand by solving an existing problem. So for now you mainly sell in Europe, but you're also looking to expand to the Gulf region, right? I know that you recently took on a new ambassador in the Gulf.
Yeah, it's Amelia Mościcka, Polish young rider, but on a very, very high level. I love the style that she represents, and also the hard work that she puts every day, not only in the trainings but also in the stable, in the gym.
Yeah, I can vouch for that. I know Amelia personally, and she's also an ambassador for 2 products that I distribute. So yeah, definitely, like she's, I think she's a good choice. I think my main hope is in Saudi Arabia actually, because they're, especially around Riyadh, which is where most of the equestrian centers gather. They have this climate that, you know, it's like this kind of central desert climate because they don't have any water around them. So it gets super hot during the day and then quite cold at night. Like actually, especially in the winter, they do wear woolly hats. Like, because I would say like the rugs, they're perfect for the UAE, even for the horses, because they're in AC stables. But there's not necessarily so much need, for example, for a beanie in the UAE climate, but in Riyadh, definitely, like for Saudi Arabia, it does get pretty cold in the winter. Like I just came back and I was shocked how cold it was. So for sure, I see a lot of
You recommend the Merino beanie?
Yes, yeah, they love wearing beanies, and it's like, for us, it's like, it seems like it's warm, you know, because it'll be like 15 or 18 degrees, but like for them that's like a hardcore winter, you know. So
yeah, but you also don't get too hot in Merino
that's
beanie.
the thing, yeah.
And you can make some things in stable, and that was also really important for me, to make such a cap that you don't get overheated.
Well, Monika, thank you so much for that. I mean, I think that like clears up a lot of the questions. I've got one last question for you. If you could choose anyone, you can even name 2 or 3 people if you want. If you could see any professional rider wearing your products, who would it be?
Oh, well.
I'm sure there's plenty of people.
Yeah. That would be great if I could see in the future riders like Edwina Tops-Alexander or Henrik von Eckermann showing in our natural wool rugs.
I think it's a very kind of Scandinavian concept in its, like, you know, in terms of like minimalism and style, etc. So I'm sure he'd like them.
Yeah, Scandic design. I also love it from the architectural point of view.